This tiny nickel could be more interesting than you think.
The Monticello Jefferson 5-cent coin has been in circulation for years, but some versions quietly stand out to collectors.
Most people never notice the small details hiding in plain sight.
That's why rare finds keep slipping through everyday change. So before you spend your next nickel, take a closer look. Like and subscribe for more hidden coin discoveries.
Back in 1974, a simple 5-cent coin moved through American pockets without attracting much attention.
People used it for vending machines, phone booths, bus fares, and everyday purchases.
Most of those nickels were spent and forgotten within days.
But hidden among millions of ordinary coins were a few unusual pieces carrying minting mistakes that would later become extremely valuable to collectors. The first coin in this video is the 1974 Jefferson Monticello nickel, a coin that today can reach values between $40,240 and $105,400 when rare error varieties are discovered.
The United States in 1974 was dealing with major economic challenges. Inflation was rising, fuel prices were climbing, and everyday Americans depended heavily on cash transactions.
Because of the enormous demand for coins, the mints operated continuously, producing huge quantities every day. The Jefferson nickel had already been part of American currency for more than 3 decades by that time. First introduced in 1938, the coin replaced the earlier buffalo nickel design and honored Thomas Jefferson, one of the most influential figures in American history. Jefferson played a major role in shaping the nation. He authored the Declaration of Independence and helped expand the United States through the Louisiana Purchase.
His image on the nickel became one of the most recognizable portraits in American coinage.
On the obverse of the 1974 nickel appears Jefferson's left-facing portrait, along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1974. The reverse features Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate, surrounded by the words "United States of America, e pluribus unum," and 5 cents. The coin was produced by the United States Mint using large industrial presses capable of striking thousands of coins every hour. Even with advanced machinery and inspection systems, small mistakes sometimes slip through the production process. A standard 1974 Jefferson nickel weighs exactly 5.00 grams and measures 21.21 millimeters in diameter.
It is made from a copper-nickel alloy that gives the coin its familiar silver appearance. For collectors, weight is one of the most important clues when searching for valuable errors. Even a slight variation can indicate that something unusual happened during minting. Some rare coins have been discovered simply because someone noticed the coin felt different or weighed slightly more or less than expected. The minting process begins with blank metal discs called planchets. These blanks move automatically into powerful coining presses where dies strike the metal under tremendous pressure. The entire strike happens in an instant. But if the planchet enters incorrectly or if the dies develop defects, an error coin can be created. One of the most desirable errors on the 1974 Jefferson nickel is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet is not properly aligned during striking. As a result, part of the design is missing, leaving a blank curved area on the coin. The stronger the off-center effect while still showing the date, the more valuable the coin usually becomes. Another highly collected error is the doubled die variety. This error occurs during the creation of the die itself rather than during the actual strike. When this happens, certain letters or numbers appear doubled on the finished coin. Collectors closely inspect the word Liberty, the date, and details of Monticello looking for signs of duplication. Under magnification, the letters may show separation or shadow-like doubling that reveals the error. Die cracks are another fascinating type of mint error. After striking thousands of coins repeatedly, the steel dies can begin developing fractures from the intense pressure. When metal flows into those cracks during striking, raised lines appear on the surface of the coin. Some die cracks are small and barely noticeable, while others stretch dramatically across large portions of the design. Another important error is the grease strike, sometimes called a filled die error. This happens when grease, dirt, or metal debris partially blocks the die. As a result, parts of the design appear weak, blurry, or completely missing. Some nickels show faded letters or incomplete details because of this problem. Among the rarest varieties are wrong planchet errors. These occur when a nickel is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination. The result may be a coin with unusual weight, size, or color. These mistakes are extremely rare because several production failures must happen at the same time. Condition also plays a major role in determining value. Most 1974 nickels circulated heavily and developed scratches, wear, and dull surfaces over time. However, coins preserved in excellent condition with sharp details and original mint luster are far more valuable, especially when paired with a confirmed mint error. Professional grading services help authenticate coins and confirm whether an error occurred during the minting process. These services also assign condition grades, which can dramatically influence market value. Certified coins usually attract stronger collector demand because buyers trust the professional evaluation. Over the years, certain 1974 Jefferson nickel error coins have sold for impressive amounts. Depending on the rarity of the error, the condition of the coin, and collector demand, values can range from $40,240 to $105,400. To many people, it seems unbelievable that a 5-cent coin could be worth so much money decades later. But that is exactly what makes coin collecting so exciting. Small mistakes inside a highly controlled minting system can transform ordinary objects into rare historical pieces. What makes these discoveries even more fascinating is the possibility that valuable examples may still exist unnoticed. Old jars filled with coins, inherited collections, forgotten drawers, and unopened coin rolls could still contain rare error nickels waiting to be discovered. That is why experienced collectors carefully inspect every detail of old coins before ignoring them. Tiny clues such as doubled lettering, unusual weight, off-center strikes, or raised lines can reveal a coin's hidden value. A magnifying glass and digital scale are often enough to begin searching like a real numismatist. Collectors also warn against cleaning potentially valuable coins. Cleaning can damage original surfaces and significantly reduce collector value. The 1974 Jefferson Monticello nickel proves that even small everyday coins can carry extraordinary stories. What once bought candy, snacks, or a phone call decades ago might now represent a highly collectible mint error worth thousands of dollars. So the next time you come across old nickels in a drawer or coin jar, take a closer look. Because one ordinary-looking 1974 Jefferson nickel could turn out to be a rare piece hiding far more value than anyone expected. Most people never pay attention to nickels. They sit unnoticed in pockets, jars, car cup holders, and cash registers every single day. But sometimes, one small mistake at the mint can turn an ordinary 5-cent coin into something collectors are willing to pay thousands of dollars for. The second coin in this video takes us back to 1992 and focuses on the 1992 P. Jefferson nickel, a coin that looked completely ordinary when it first entered circulation. Yet certain error varieties from this year have become highly desirable in the numismatic world, with values ranging from $31,140 to $90,200 depending on the rarity and condition of the error. In the early 1990s, cash transactions still dominated daily life in the United States. Coins moved constantly through vending machines, grocery stores, restaurants, arcades, and public transportation systems. Because of that demand, the United States Mint produced enormous quantities of coins every year. The Jefferson nickel had already been a familiar part of American currency for more than 50 years by 1992. Introduced in 1938, the design replaced the famous Buffalo nickel and featured Thomas Jefferson, one of the nation's most influential historical figures. Jefferson played a major role in shaping early American democracy and authored much of the Declaration of Independence. His image on the nickel became a long-lasting symbol of American history and leadership. The obverse of the 1992 P nickel features Jefferson's portrait facing left along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1992. The small P mint mark indicates that the coin was struck in Philadelphia. The reverse displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate. The building's detailed design became one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. Surrounding it are the inscriptions "United States of America," "E pluribus unum," and 5 cents. At first glance, every 1992 P nickel appears identical. But collectors know that hidden among millions of ordinary coins are rare examples with minting mistakes that escaped quality control.
A standard 1992p Jefferson nickel weighs exactly 5.00 grams and measures 21.21 millimeters in diameter.
It is composed of a copper-nickel alloy that gives it its familiar silver appearance. For collectors, weight is extremely important. Even a slight variation can signal a rare mint error such as an off-metal strike or an incorrect planchet. Many valuable discoveries have started with something as simple as placing a coin on a digital scale and noticing that it weighs differently than expected. The minting process begins with blank metal discs called planchets. These blanks are automatically fed into powerful presses where dies strike the design into the metal using tremendous pressure. Everything happens in a fraction of a second. But if something goes wrong during that brief moment, an error coin is created. One of the most desirable errors associated with the 1992p Jefferson nickel is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet enters the striking chamber improperly aligned. As a result, part of the design is missing and a blank crescent-shaped area appears on the coin. The more dramatic the misalignment while still showing the date, the more valuable the coin can become. Another important error type is the doubled die variety. This occurs during the creation of the die itself rather than during the striking process. When this happens, certain letters or numbers appear doubled due to a slight misalignment during die preparation. Collectors carefully inspect the word Liberty, the date, and details of Monticello looking for signs of doubling. Under magnification, the letters may appear to have shadows or slight separation. Die crack errors are also highly interesting. After striking thousands of coins under extreme pressure, the dies can begin developing fractures. When metal flows into those cracks during the strike, raised lines appear on the finished coin. Some cracks are tiny and subtle, while others stretch dramatically across the coin's surface. Another unusual error is known as a grease strike or filled die error. This happens when grease, debris, or metal particles partially blot parts of the die. As a result, some details appear weak, blurry, or missing entirely. Certain lettering or architectural details on Monticello may appear faded or incomplete. Among the rarest possibilities are wrong planchet errors. In these cases, a Jefferson nickel may accidentally be struck on a blank intended for another denomination. The result could be a coin with unusual size, color, thickness, or weight. These errors are extremely scarce because several production mistakes must occur at the same time. Condition also plays a major role in determining value. Most 1992p nickels circulated heavily for years and show scratches, wear, and dull surfaces. However, coins preserved in uncirculated condition with sharp details and original mint luster are worth significantly more, especially when paired with a genuine mint error. Professional grading services help authenticate these coins and confirm whether the error occurred during production. They also assign a condition grade that greatly affects market value. Collectors and investors often trust certified coins more because authentication provides confidence that the piece is genuine. In the numismatic market, some rare 1992p Jefferson nickel errors have sold for impressive amounts. Depending on the type of error, rarity, and preservation, values can range between $31,140 and $90,200. Many people are shocked to learn that a simple 5-cent coin could ever be worth that much money. But collectors are not paying for the coin's face value. They are paying for rarity, historical interest, and the unlikely mistake that allowed the coin to exist in the first place. That is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Valuable treasures are often hiding in plain sight among ordinary change. Some collectors have discovered rare error coins inside old piggy banks, inherited collections, forgotten drawers, or coin rolls from the bank. Because of this, experts always recommend examining old coins carefully before spending or discarding them. Small details such as doubled letters, unusual lines, weak strikes, or abnormal weight can completely change a coin's value. A magnifying glass and a digital scale are often enough to begin searching for rare varieties. One important rule in numismatics is never to clean potentially valuable coins. Cleaning damages the original surface and can dramatically reduce collector value. The second coin in this video proves that even a modern Jefferson nickel can become an extraordinary collectible when a rare mint error is involved. So the next time you come across old nickels sitting in a jar or hidden inside a drawer, take a closer look. Because an ordinary-looking 1992 Jefferson nickel might secretly be worth far more than anyone ever expected.